The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. With 5 locations in the Wilmington area, Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients. Always had them, always will. Wilmington International Airport. Committed to a relaxed, enjoyable flying experience. Now offering daily nonstop flights to Charlotte, New York, and Philadelphia with American Airlines, and Atlanta with Delta. Details at flyilm.com. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, featuring uncompromising freshness and quality and gracious hospitality. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, the perfect place for your next casual dining experience. And PortCityDaily.com. You can do without the paper, but you can't do without the news. PortCityDaily.com is your online local news source for Wilmington and the surrounding Cape Fear region.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable here on New Hanover County Schools TV. I'm your host, Joe Catanacci, as we get ready to recap Week 3 across the high school football landscape in New Hanover County. A quick rundown, some of the scores in the area. A tough week for our New Hanover County football programs. We'll start over at Legion Stadium. Havelock defeated the Wildcats of New Hanover 42-0. Garrett Walston finished with 6 catches for 63 yards for New Hanover. Wiz Vaughn and Traquan Age with a number of all-purpose yards in the Wildcat backfield. Hoggard fell at Scott Braswell Stadium, a late touchdown. Pine Forest 27, Hoggard Vikings 26. Caleb Kuhn was 2 of 3 in field goal attempts. Tony Allen a couple of touchdowns. Bryant Sasser also hit Keon Bradley for 2 scores in the air as well. Fairmont defeated Ashley back on Monday, 28-14. Bradley Plyer continues to pile up a number of yards for the Screaming Eagles. And Lee County defeated Laney back on Friday night, 28-18. Amik Watkins with a couple of touchdowns for the Bucks. They're 0-3 on the year and continue a grueling 3-game road trip later on this week against Northern Nash. That will bring us to our first guest, second-year Laney High School coach Ashad Yeoman. And Coach Yeoman, I know it's tough to go on the road and be in a game late into the fourth quarter and not come away with a victory, so maybe some general thoughts heading through the week of practice.
Well, looking at that team, those guys were 2-0. They had a lot of confidence. We were 0-2, and one of the things you worry about as a coach is the mental aspect of the game. Physically, we're fine. One of the things we did a great job of is fighting all night long. We kind of kept them around, and then they ended up, getting some momentum in the fourth quarter and taking it on.
Well, that's one of those things kind of we talked about off the air, is the fact that, when you get a team that's accustomed to winning games, they know how to hang in there and then, come out on the end, whereas you haven't enjoyed that success so far this season, some young guys, so that's kind of a hurdle you're trying to get over at this part of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mental thing, and right now that's what we're working on, is getting over that, but the fight's still there, and that's what I love about my kids, is that I'm proud to wear that blue and gold because of the fight they have.
Well, we'll take a look at some of the footage from your game against Lee County. I know Amik Watkins took the ball into the end zone a couple of times, and why don't you take us through some plays here as we head through this portion of the game?
That's Jemias Beckett. It was 4th down and about 6 yards. One of our goals was to start fast, and I said that we want to score on our first opening drive and get the momentum going in our direction. And it was 4th down, so I couldn't go away from what I said. So we went for it on 4th down, and we ended up coming away with it. That was the first drive on defense. That's a great stop by Tyler Moore. He's our junior linebacker. It's his first year playing middle for us, and he's been doing a great job of leading that defense and doing a great job there. That's a pick by Troy Cruz, one of our senior defensive backs. I think that's they ended up calling that back actually because of a late hit on the quarterback. But this is the same drive, sending a little pressure off the edge, and we ended up coming up with another pick. We did a great job. We're starting to come around defensively and understanding what our roles are and our jobs are, and the guys are getting the right fits and getting out there quite a bit. So I'm proud of how we stepped up there. And then, we didn't have this is actually a 4th down and short. They had the jumbo package in, big boys up, road graders, and that's Cayman Czak, also another junior. His first year starting for us at linebacker. He did a great job of slicing through the defense and making that play and getting the offense back on the field. That's Ryan Dabrowski. He had done that all night long. He was getting so bad the ref was trying to tell him to slow down on some of them and getting in his head a little bit. But there's Amik Watkins, guy you were talking about earlier. You know, he's fit to go at the house at any moment. So.
Shifty running back right there. You can see him step up into that hole, and he gets through that second line of the defense, and he was gone.
Yeah, the guys did a great job of executing the offense and blocking the guys in front, and he did a great job reading.
Well, I
the
know
blocks.
the last show you kind of talked about really, you know, you coached the defensive backs, and we
Right.
saw there a couple of nice plays by your secondary. So they've come along here over the last week or so for you.
They have, but there's still a lot of work to be done, you know, as a whole. So we had given up some big plays later on in the game, some minor mental issues there, but all of those things can be fixed, you know, and then, like I said, it's on me. So
Dealing with high school kids and, you know, not enjoying success as far as getting in the win column earlier in the year, it's got to be a challenge for you to make sure that their focus is sharp each and every day that they head to the practice field, and then, you know, making that, you know, change over into the game and having it produce in the game time.
Oh, absolutely. You know, with this game, a lot of people, you know, focus on the wins and losses, but they don't see the ground that you're breaking with, you know, the attitude and making sure that they keep their heads up, keep fighting. And that's in life because, you know, you're going to get a lot of lemons in life, and it's what you make of it. So I'm just proud of the kids that keeping their heads up and fighting together and staying together as a team. And that's one of the things that we got to make sure that we're doing week in and week out, and we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to win some ball games coming up soon.
Well, not only are you getting close, you know, as the season progresses as a unit in whole, but with this non-conference schedule, a lot of long road trips for you as well. So that you know, brings some camaraderie together, sitting on the bus together. These long trips, all the way there, all the way back. You head up to Northern Nash this week, so it doesn't get much easier for you as you continue to gear up for conference play.
No, it doesn't, but you know, it gets us prepared for playing on the road and being in those, you know, those hostile stadiums and those atmospheres. You know, Northern Nash, you know, even though they haven't won a ball game, they got a lot of great athletes and talent on their end. So we got a lot of work to do this week to try to come out with a victory.
Well, what are some of those things you need to do this week to finally get that W?
Just execution, and then show up some of these penalties, man. We've been shooting ourselves in the foot. We got to kind of get out of our own way type of situation. But you know, looking for a great ball game against Northern Nash, and excited about the opportunity to play.
Laney, second-year head football coach Ashad Yeoman here on the Sports Roundtable. We'll take a quick break. Coach Yo, good luck this week, and hopefully you come back to the next show with a W.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, take a quick break, and we'll continue the Sports Roundtable right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. I'm Joe Catanacci from PortCityDaily.com, where you can find your only free online source for local news and sports across the Wilmington area. Well, weather delays have put a damper on the start of the season so far. Through the first 3 weeks, we've had lightning, thunderstorms across the area, which have really made it difficult for our teams to stay consistent throughout the course of a ball game and leading into 2 separate nights. That was the case for the Ashley Screaming Eagles this past week. They fell to Fairmont 28-14 in a game that started on Friday night, was postponed until Labor Day because of the lightning. Ashley took a 7-0 lead in the second quarter, ultimately losing to Fairmont 28-14. That brings us to Ashley, first-year coach Jeff Turner. And Coach Turner, I know it's been a tough road so far throughout the early portion of the season. You've been pleased with some things on the football field and obviously still looking to get that first victory.
Yeah, right now we're just fighting through some adversity, and you know, we just need to see and make sure we handle it the right way. You know, going in Friday night, we really felt good, felt like we had a great game plan. I think everything was feeling good. I felt like the game was going our way, and all of a sudden, transformer was hit by lightning. All the lights went out in the stadium and the locker rooms, and we were done for the night. So we get on the bus, and we can't get out of the locker room till late. And we finally get home about midnight, and they postpone it until Monday, where we get back and drive another 2 hours back. And we just didn't continue our stuff. They made some adjustments to their credit defensively, ran a totally different front, and sort of messed us up. But we need to handle that a little better. So again, we're getting tested with adversity, and that's okay. And we should rebound from that.
Well, you're in this game until the fourth quarter, ultimately losing by 2 touchdowns, but you have a lead, so there are some positives to take week in and week out here.
Well, I'll tell you, we had a short field offensively all night, and I was disappointed that we didn't, capitalize on that a little better. I think, defensively we turned some turnovers. We were on the field a long time. I expect us to be able to stop that, but we had some short fields, and we're going to have to really fix that and make sure with our open week that we can correct that offensively, that we can capitalize when we're on the 30-yard line and we get a turnover, that we could get some points out of it.
Well, let's go to some of the highlights from your game against Fairmont. I guess this is either pre or post transformer blowout because of the thunderstorms, but take us through this next set of plays.
Yeah, this was a fake punt that guys did a great job on. Just playing good defense overall. We're back and forth. Number 5, I'll tell you, Fairmont, I've been around a long time, and they have probably a couple athletes that I would match up with some of the top athletes I've seen. I'm very impressed with a couple of their guys, but we hung with them. And right here, you got some pressure coming, and they get a little delayed jet sweep in the backfield there. It's more of team defense. It's not about that one person there. So.
Seems like you're able to get a lot of push up front with those big 4 guys.
Yeah, they're working hard. Latif does a good job, Latif Corbett, and hitting the guy coming out a quick screen and fumble the ball. Another turnover there. We get the ball, I believe, on the 30-yard line inside the zone, and we do capitalize on this one. Here's Bradley Plyler on a ISO play and scores on this. Okay, and that was for our second score, which it was 14-14 going in the fourth quarter, and again, we had a lot of opportunities. It's just very disappointing that we didn't capitalize on it, which we need to. Some more pressure here, bad snap, and we just rally to the ball. Right here, Kendrell Peterson, Latif Corbett, DC Russ, all in there trying to go ahead and take care of the running back and quarterback.
Seems like the defense has kept you in some of these games, and then obviously tiring a little bit there in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's what's happening, and we're turning the ball over offensively, and if we can just, we're getting better, but too slow. We need to pick it up and stop, using that as an excuse. So they're trying, their effort's terrific, and I think again it just comes down to handling adversity the right way. Great J by DC Russ right there. He's done such a good job, number 9, and he's playing both ways, and he was just exhausted last night. Right here, a little read option. Quarterback. Okay. Another touchdown by Caleb Parker. Caleb's playing with a hurt ankle. He's limping while he's running, and hopefully we can get all of our guys healthy this week. Another quick toss, good pursuit. They're just team defense, okay? Taking him back. And running the ball. Some more pressure here. Good job by the defense. And you can see most of our highlights, our defense. Again, we hung in there. We were on the field a lot last night. Some more pressure.
It seems like that defensive line was in the backfield almost nearly every play. It seems
they were, and Fairmont did a good job of using their athletes. Again, I tell you, they have a couple kids there. One that's being looked at by Caroline, and another kid that can really go up and get it. He's special, and they don't say that about everybody. So they got some kids up there.
Well, when you have some injuries like that, how hard is it to get some consistency on the practice field to be able to get these guys reps in order to be ready to go on Friday night?
Well, you always look for someone else to step up, but the main thing is getting a look on the speed that we see, and that's really a big problem is what we saw, and some of that speed, you just don't get that kind of look on the practice field and the scout team. So, good on good helps a lot. So kids are working hard, and we're going to keep working. We're not going to give up. We're going to handle it right. So I am disappointed. The kids are a little disappointed, but they're also excited about practicing today.
Well, the Ashley Screaming Eagles are 0-3 to start the year, but still in search of that first victory. They'll get a home game coming up against Westover. So, Coach, good luck this week of practice. Get the guys healthy and hopefully in the win column.
I appreciate it. We're going to try real hard.
That's Ashley first-year coach Jeff Turner here on the Sports Roundtable. We'll take a quick break. We'll catch up with Hoggard coach Craig Underwood, and up next is New Hanover High School football coach Earl Smith. And we're back here on the Sports Roundtable talking with the 4 New Hanover High School football coaches, and we'll go to New Hanover High School for this next segment. Again, I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. Joining us now here on set is first-year New Hanover High School football coach Earl Smith. And Coach Smith, I know you would have liked to enjoy the Labor Day weekend a little bit more with friends and family in town, despite the tough setback to Havelock, a quality team, the defending 3A East Regional champs. They brought a lot of talent to Legion Stadium over back on Friday night, and that talent was on display.
Absolutely, Joe. And we started the game off with a fumble kickoff, and that we can't make mistakes like that against that quality of a football team. But we did come back and actually stop them on that goal line and made a goal line stand, which I thought was great for our defense.
While you started the season off 2-0, and we touched on this just briefly off the camera, is the fact that maybe the guys had a little too much confidence heading into this game against Havelock and thought they could maybe just throw the pads on the field and come up with a victory. Obviously, that wasn't the case.
Absolutely, and you can't duplicate. We're pretty good on offense, and I think that's helped our defense. But at the same time, you can't duplicate what they were doing on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. We had the ball inside the red zone 6 times and did not come up with points, and that's that hurt.
Well, you've been able to move the ball offensively, and as we look at some of the highlights here coming up, moving the ball offensively has not been the problem this season. Obviously, we're having some technical issues with our highlights, so we'll just take it as we go, and if they pop up, they pop up.
Right.
I know for the fact that on the offensive end, as you mentioned, you're able to move that ball back and forth and just unable to execute inside that red zone, and that's something that hopefully will change heading through the week off, and then as Scotland County coming to town.
Yeah, we'll use 3 days this week to work on those things, watch the film today, and try to work on that offensively. I think that against a team as quick and physical as they are, you have to stay on your blocks a lot longer. And I think that was happening.
One of the things in that Havelock game, I know you touched on it and I watched it, was up front. I mean, you really got outplayed and outworked on both sides of the ball on the line of scrimmage.
Exactly. Our defensive front is very young. Our offensive front, though, they're all seniors. So I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call for everybody. We did have some big plays by our safety, Ronnie Beatty. I mean, and that tells you when a safety's making tackles like he did, that's really not good for the team. But he had a great effort in breaking up 2 or 3 passes and making some great stops. But yeah, it's good the bye week comes at a good time.
You talked about that fumble early in the game off the opening kickoff. That was Wiz Vaughn, and I thought he kind of responded after that. He had a good game catching the ball for you out of the backfield, and he's a guy that is a really dynamic player for you.
Yeah, he's young. He's a sophomore, and I think it really ate him up, but it shows his character. He came right back, and when they kicked it again, they kicked it back to him, and he made a good play out of it on 2 or 3 kickoff returns and on some of our screen plays and outside runs.
Heading through this week of practice, I know you're going to not really enjoy the week off. You've got some work to do leading up to a battle with Scotland. What's going to be the focus for these guys moving through the next 3 days? I know they know that they're not going to have to play Friday, so keeping that pinpoint focus for the next 3 days leading into an off weekend is something really important for you.
Well, I think we'll show them the film again today, and they now that they all have huddle, they watch it and they know, and we're going to focus again on continuing to work on our tackling. And coming off the ball a little better on the line of scrimmage.
Well, that was, I don't want to call it a concern, but that was one of the things that were concerning you heading into the season was that defensive end, the defensive side of the ball. Last year, they let up a lot of yards, a lot of points. You're able to hang with them on the offensive side. So the focus for you right now is really on that defensive end, end of the ball.
Front, yeah, and then also offensively, just the consistency and making sure we finish the drives.
Well, you do have some, experienced players on that offensive side, and I would expect that come 2 Fridays from now, that offense will respond in a big way for you.
Absolutely. We do have Scotland, which is another, their top 4A team, but that's what we need right now, and prepares us for our conference.
One of the matchups that I noticed back on Friday night was Garrett Walston, the University of Georgia commit. He's obviously going to draw a number of players over to him, which can open up some things for some other playmakers for you. But he was matched up against another Division I talent, and just to see those two kind of guys, they looked like men amongst boys out there on the field.
They were battling, and Garrett did get open and make some great catches during the game. So, it was there were two good ones on the field at the same time.
And he made two spectacular catches, I thought. A couple balls thrown behind him, and it seems like anytime he gets a hand on that ball, it's a catch.
He's got great hands and good concentration.
This quick break, Coach, work to do this week, and we look forward to seeing how you match up against Scotland in a couple of Fridays.
Appreciate it, Joe.
That's New Hanover High School football coach Earl Smith here on the Sports Roundtable. We'll wrap up the show with Hoggard High School coach Craig Underwood right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school football across New Hanover County. Again, as I kind of mentioned earlier in the show, a tough week for our 4 football teams, all suffering setbacks. Probably one of the toughest was for the Hoggard Vikings, a 27-26 loss to Pine Forest. A fourth quarter touchdown late in the game sealed the victory for Pine Forest. The Vikings 1-2 on the year. We're going to catch up with Hoggard first-year head coach Craig Underwood right now as we wrap up our show. And Coach, there are a lot of positives you can take out of Friday night setback. Also some negatives, obviously, a couple of special teams blunders. But for the most part, I thought a well-played game for you. Just come up a little short at the end.
Yeah, we're doing some things really well. Offensively, I feel like we've really come a long way in the last 2 weeks. We moved the ball with consistency Friday night. Kind of as Coach Turner and Coach Smith have said, they're still emphasizing finishing drives. Special teams wise, we did come through with Caleb Kuhn, a couple big field goals for us, 47-yarder and 37-yarder. So, that's a new weapon. Well, I shouldn't say new. He kicked for us last year, but a more dependable weapon this year. He's doing a great job.
Tony Allen with a couple of touchdowns on the ground, and Brian Sasser through the air threw 2 touchdown passes to Keon Bradley in the win. And we'll go to some of the footage here, Coach. And as we head to this game against Pine Forest, like I said, Scott Braswell Stadium, a good atmosphere for high school football. And why don't you take us through these next couple of plays?
I'll tell you, we opened the game, decided to go a little play action shot right here. This is Matthew Akins on a smash route. Just does a great job of route running and then securing the catch and getting yards after the catch as well. So great, just exciting play to set the tone for the game. I was extremely pleased with our offensive production early coming out. This is Keon Bradley, Bryant Sasser to Keon Bradley, which is pretty good protection on the sprint out pass in there. And then here we go, I believe we're getting our run game going. This is Tony Allen, had a huge night, 200 plus yards rushing. So offensive line starting to really come along. Still got work to do, no way of denying that, but a game which we can point at a lot of good. You see the offensive line working the second level there, and Tony just, creasing it right up the middle. So great job. Here's that 47-yard field goal. Very impressive. We didn't kick one against 71st and kind of questioned that. I was like, give Caleb a chance, and he came through for us. This is, we came right back after doing that and kicked a little pooch to some open green grass, and Carson Whittaker ran down. That was a big turnover right there. You can see all the excitement. So big play on special teams. We made some blunders, but some big plays. Now, offensively, this is Will Candair coming through the middle. He's really come along at middle linebacker. Mackenzie Frazier setting the edge there for us. Here we go. They're coming out of the end zone. Always one of our big emphasis. We're going to keep you pinned down there. And that's Will and Mackenzie and William Dykes there in on that stop. Again, seeing inside penetration. Again, William Candair coming through on a blitz. He had his best game of the year by far. Brian Sasser on the rollout and is hitting Keon Bradley again. Keon, we had some pretty significant injuries at wide receiver, and he really stepped up for us in a week that we needed him to. Early on, needed to make some catches late. But here we go again. This is just inside pressure. We knew they had a quarterback that liked to scramble, so we tried to challenge our guys to contain the pocket and provide pressure as soon as he stepped up. So here you go. He's stepping up in. That's Mackenzie Frazier. Mackenzie's only a sophomore, and he's got big play potential.
See him get off the ball right there on that
play.
play.
Yeah, that's right. This is Josh Jones coming through a little quarterback draw. Tristan Candair leading him. Nice block there. All right, but a big play. Just good job scheming him up by the offensive coaching staff there. Caught him off guard. It's Pat Morrison in motion here little more of a heavy set, just running power right here. And again, seeing Tony Allen and Rashad Wallace both had big nights. Tony was able to get more of the big gainers. Rashad, a little more of the sustained rushing attack, though. So that little 1-2 combo we've developed it's going to do good things for us. Here we see again our field goal team. We've got a 37-yard field goal here. 36. Good snap operation. We actually had to sub our long snapper pre-snap, so that's always a concern. But we put a big emphasis on special teams. It's one of the things we told them, we got to win special teams every week. And one of the things that's been frustrating about some of the mistakes we've made as well. But, those things got to be automatic. There's Josh Jones in again, handing the ball to Tony Allen. Right up the gut. The trap game really came along for us this week. We got Omar Jones, Will Dykes, those guys giving us a great penetration. That allows our linebackers to drop more. The one thing you didn't see there is we had a big 4th and 1 that we creased for a go-ahead touchdown. It was a big play as well by Tony Allen. So a lot of great things to build off of, but obviously we got to be more consistent.
At the quarterback position, Brian Sasser, as we saw a couple of touchdown passes, you really like him moving that pocket and be able to throw. Looks like he can throw the ball on the run real well.
That's right. Yeah, he's really worked hard in the offseason to develop that part of his game. He's good in the pocket as well. Young offensive line we're developing. The sprint out game's been good to us. And he and Josh both do a good job with the sprint outs.
Well, it's definitely been a bit of a transfer with a lot of experience, having left this past season, and getting some of these new guys, experience. And as the season progresses, you can only expect them to continue to improve. Yeah, and that was the challenge to the guys. Show up to work Labor Day Monday morning. We practiced at 8:30. That was a tough loss. We lost on the tip ball at the end of the game. But it's as I told the kids, you got to make the plays during the game that play, fluke plays happen in football. It can't be the difference maker, That's Hoggard High School football coach Craig Underwood. As we wrap up tonight's broadcast, one thing for the Vikings, it does not get much easier for you as you head out to the Queen City this weekend to take on a great Charlotte Christian team, and we look forward to watching you guys play on Friday night.
We're excited about it.
That's Craig Underwood, the Hoggard first-year head football coach. The Vikings 1-2, looking to get back in the win column come on Friday. Hope you have enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Don't forget you can catch us online on YouTube as well as during tonight's show each and every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Again, I'm Joe Katz signing off from PortCityDaily.com. You can find your free online information for local news and sports across the Wilmington area right there at PortCityDaily.com. Until next time.